You're not alone if the accumulation of sentimental items, worn-out furniture, extra pillows, and other items over the years makes your bedroom feel more cluttered than cozy. However, what if you made 4 simple changes to transform your space into a peaceful sanctuary? Clutter affects your safety, stress levels, and quality of sleep, in addition to being messy. Imagine waking up in a calm, energizing space rather than one that is overwhelming. Evelyn, 72, has lived in the same cozy house for more than 30 years. Her bedroom is filled with framed pictures of her loved ones, books she has read and intends to read, and a variety of blankets and cushions that have somehow grown larger over the years. Although she loves her space, it has recently felt less cozy and more cluttered. She's reaching for her reading glasses one evening when her foot bumps onto the edge of a stack of books next to her bed, tripping her and making her heart race. Her nightstand is piled high with trinkets, the chair in the corner is covered in clothes, and her closet, well, she stopped opening that without taking a deep breath first, is bursting with stuff. Fortunately, she stops herself, but the fear persists as she looks around and realizes that her once tranquil haven has become crowded. Even though everything has a narrative and decluttering seems daunting, she asks herself, what if my bedroom felt light and open again? She decides to take the first step because she wants to wake up in a location that gives her peace instead of stress. She needs simply get rid of the things that no longer serve her. As she starts, she realizes deeply that decluttering is not about getting rid of things, but about making room for the things that really import. If you've ever experienced similar emotions, stay with me, because I'm going to show you how to transform your bedroom using 4 easy items you can discard right now. I can assure you that there will be an immediate difference if you remove the 4th item, which most people overlook. For more practical advice on how to live a safer, happier, and easier life after 60, please click the like button and subscribe before we begin. The first items to remove are extra pillows and blankets. Evelyn had never given it much attention because her bed was where she found comfort at the end of the day, but over time, it evolved into more than just a place to sleep. It was furnished with decorative cushions of all shapes and sizes that she never used, and she kept extra blankets in case something happened. One morning when she was making the bed, she noticed that she was spending more time moving pillows than using them. Moving past the additional blankets on the floor at night was like negotiating an obstacle course, and dust seemed to collect in the folds of the unused couch, making her bedroom feel stuffier than it should have. The issue was dirty, untidy, and perhaps hazardous. Extra blankets and pillows may appear innocuous, but for elderly people, they can rapidly become dangerous or bothersome. This explains why pillows and blankets gradually gather dust and allergies. Dust reduces the freshness of the air and may exacerbate allergies. Furthermore, it makes your bed feel busy rather than peaceful. Pillows stacked on top of one another on a bed can be overwhelming and dangerous. Nobody wants to take the chance of an additional pillow falling off the bed or a pile of blankets on the floor. Something has to be altered. Evelyn had always thought that she needed all of these blankets and cushions to make her bedroom look warm, even if they were actually making things harder. To make her life easier, Evelyn made the decision to keep only the things she used on a daily basis. She realized she only required 2 pillows because the others were only taking up room after calculating how many she actually used for sleeping. She chose her necessities as follows, and you can do the same. Store seasonal excess and keep only the pillows and blankets you really need each night. Instead of leaving your winter blankets and guest pillows on your bed, put them in a closet and donate what you don't need. Gently worn pillows and bedding are often accepted by numerous shelters and charitable organizations. Evelyn was astounded by the transformation after getting rid of the extras. Her bed looked welcoming without being overpowering. The air felt cleaner, and she could walk around without tripping over a heap of pillows. Most importantly, it became second nature to make the bed in the morning. Now is your time to stop moving pointless cushions and take a moment to gaze at your own bed. Tell me how many of the pillows you actually use, and how many are just sitting there. Tell us in the comments if you're collecting dust. Decluttering just one section of your bedroom can have a significant impact, but the next item is hidden and takes up far more room than you might imagine. You might be surprised to learn what it is. Unused chairs and furnishings should be the second thing to clear. In contrast to how she usually felt at home in her bedroom, Evelyn noted that her old armchair in the corner was being used more as a storage unit than as a place to sit and read. Instead of snuggling up with a book, she found the chair buried behind a pile of clothes, some old magazines, and a blanket she hadn't used in months. She sighed when she realized the chair was detracting from rather than adding to her area. However, because it often has sentimental value, it's more difficult than throwing away a pillow. An earth-collecting space hog. Although having a cozy chair in your bedroom for reading, unwinding, or simply adding more sitting could seem like a nice idea, many people never actually use them. They end up utilizing them as a location to throw away their garments, which are then thrown over the chair for a short time but remain there for weeks. A laundry basket, or even a purse full of books that never seem to go anywhere might harbor allergens and extra dust. Dust buildup on furniture detracts from the bedroom's coziness. And freshness. The worst aspect is that it makes you feel smaller and more constrained. For senior persons who require free, accessible areas to move about in safety, this is especially crucial. If you're storing furniture that you've never really utilized, think about the following questions. Is it only a space-consuming item? Or does it have a purpose? If it were gone, would your area feel bigger and easier to navigate? Do you really need it? Or are you just feeling guilty about discarding it? If you're not sure, consider giving it to someone in need, like Evelyn, or repurposing it in another section of the house where it would be useful. Evelyn began to wonder if her bedroom might feel calmer, lighter, and fresher without this chair. You might be surprised by the extra room. What about sentimental clutter, though? Giving up furniture is one thing. But what about things that are deeply personal and connected to feelings and memories? At that point, decluttering gets difficult. And that's just what we'll be concentrating on next. Hold on, because this next item is one that practically every senior faces. But after you take care of it, you'll feel a relief you never thought possible. Clothes and nightstands with emotional clutter are the last things to declutter. Evelyn sat on the edge of her bed and gazed at her dresser, which had changed from a piece of furniture to a repository of memories, containing small keepsakes from her travels and birthday cards from her grandchildren. The problem was that there were too many souvenirs and not enough breathing room. Sensitive items are the hardest to get go of since they hold emotional value for many seniors. They act as a reminder of important junctures and noteworthy events in their past. A closer look revealed that the clutter was overwhelming her, despite the fact that a fragile music box from her late husband and framed photos of loved ones each held a story and a memory she didn't want to lose. Dust had gathered around the edges of picture frames, and there was not even room for a bottle of water. When everything is important, nothing sticks out. After recognizing that preserving everything at once wasn't the best way to recall these events, Evelyn needed a new approach. Clutter, instead of coziness, results from having too many souvenirs. Instead of creating a loving ambience, the clutter may give the area a chaotic feel. Cluttered surfaces collect dust, which makes cleaning more challenging. Nightstands and dressers must be portable and easy to maintain. Evelyn made the decision to take a big breath and tackle her sentimental clutter using a straightforward plan. Preserve a few exceptional objects and cycle the ones with particular meaning. In order to view and appreciate them every day, she placed her favorite framed portrait, her husband's music box, and a modest memento from an amazing trip on the dresser. She also chose a few objects that she wanted to keep out. Instead of displaying everything at once, she switched up the sentimental pieces based on the time of year. She preserved her birthday cards in a treasure box and decided to replace them every so often. This way, she could slowly enjoy different memories without taking up too much space. She created a unique memory box for the items she wasn't ready to part with. Evelyn discovered a beautiful wooden box that would keep them secure, accessible, and hidden until she wanted to view them again. When she was finished, her bedroom seemed calmer, lighter, and more peaceful. The fact that the most important items were no longer obscured by clutter made her memories feel even more valuable. Now is your chance. Which sentimental item in your bedroom is the hardest for you to part with? Please share your story in the comments section. We'd love to hear it. Now, get ready because the fourth and last decluttering item surprises almost everyone. It's one of the biggest space stealer in a senior's bedroom, yet you might not even realize how much it's affecting your mental health. The fourth decluttering item consists of old clothing and shoes that you don't wear frequently. Evelyn was examining her wardrobe while standing in front of it. She had decades worth of clothes crammed into hangers, including jackets so ancient they still had shoulder pads, shoes that were gathering dust on the floor, and outfits she hadn't worn since the 1980s. Some of the clothes no longer fit. She kept asking herself, what if I need this someday? When she attempted to part with some. And I used to love this dress. Maybe I'll wear it again. Other things simply no longer fit her way of life. If you have closets full of clothes that are either unworn or poorly fitted, you're not alone. It's time to part with your clothes because having too many causes decision fatigue. Although a disorganized wardrobe may make getting dressed more challenging rather than easier, many elderly people keep their belongings for nostalgic reasons. Choosing a wardrobe might be difficult when you have to go through mountains of old, unwanted clothing. Mornings should be simple. Untidy closets are a waste of space because they hold things you never use, taking up space that could be used for things you use and enjoy. Over time, clothing and shoes deteriorate. If shoes are not worn frequently, they dry rot, materials discolor, and elastic wears down. Evelyn had a straightforward strategy when she decided it was time to leave the chaos. In order to solve the problem, Evelyn grabbed a donation box and began sorting through her possessions according to the one-year rule. Whatever she hadn't worn in the previous year went in the donate pile. If it didn't fit, it had to go. She kept clothes for a future that would never come, which only made her wardrobe seem more cluttered. She threw away anything that didn't appear comfy, because clothing should make you feel good. A pair of dust-caked shoes from the 1990s sat in the back corner of her closet. She picked them up and laughed, asking, "What am I even thinking?" When Evelyn finally let go, her closet seemed lighter, cleaner, and more functional with each item she took out. Now is your chance to select one item of clothes or footwear from your closet that you are certain you will never wear again. Tell us in the comments section. After cleaning her bedroom, Evelyn stood in the doorway and inhaled deeply. The air seemed cleaner. The room seemed lighter, and she could unwind at night without having to worry about clutter getting in the way of her thoughts. Now she wouldn't feel overwhelmed when she woke up in the morning. There were no more tripping hazards, cluttered nightstands, or piles of clothes, and her room felt roomy, calm, and truly hers. The room was transformed into a retreat, and her bed was modest and cozy, with nothing left behind but the sheets and pillows she actually used. There were no dust-gathering pieces of furniture in her room, and the only antiquated artifacts on her nightstand were a light, a book, and one priceless photograph. She grinned, knowing that everything in her room now had a purpose and that she only had things she really loved in her closet. How would it feel to wake up in a clutter-free environment? Improved sleep and less stress. Creating a bedroom that seems like a real haven starts with taking things one step at a time. After deciding which items to clutter first, leave a comment below. If you find this useful, click like and forward it to someone in need of a bedroom.